Yeah, I think next time I do a drawing tutorial, I'll probably have to save off a lot of images as I go, which I don't really have. So right now it's just me kind of hiding layers and showing you. Um, yeah, what I have. So as you can see too, I have my pencil layer, which is multiply. I have all my colors underneath, and then on usually the top, so above my pencil layer, I will then create a highlight layer. And this is so that none of my pencils or anything dirty it up. I can take a really nice, yellow, and usually this is where I play with the opacity, and I'll kind of, let's just go in and do a little bit here. But yeah, this is when I'll just slowly start kind of outlining shapes and whatnot and getting detail. So I'll kind of come in, add little hot spots, whatnot. And if you really want it to make it look like, metal or something, you'll come in with white and just do some pow. So yeah, it's a lot of little bits. Let's see. Usually I just stick with white. I'm assuming though God, if I had more time, yeah, definitely I'm going to put it all on one layer, as you can see right here. But you could always save them as separate layers. That way you can actually come in and maybe make, the water a different color, all those highlights a different color. Experiment green. I mean, a lot of colors definitely work, but for me, I leave it as white. And also, I guess I'll touch this really quick. Above my pencil layer, this is where I add these specialty layers, which are usually linear light, soft light. I think pin light is usually one I use. And I usually start with a blue or purple because that just gives me a good color to usually the background. But as you can see, having a good washout color to just push stuff back, the lighter it is. Yeah. So there we go. Nice hot pink. And usually what I do is I never quite know what layer I'm going to use, which I should probably know by now, but it's just fun to pick a color, go over this layer tab and just start hitting down. And I just kind of go through almost every option, and sometimes I'll get some really cool results. And that's how I've kind of learned over the years, just some of these tricks. Saturation's a good one, just because if you have a bland looking image or you pick the wrong color, saturation will always like kind of pop it back and bring a lot of color back into it. So yeah, I keep it very basic. I mean, I feel like anybody, starting out that sees my style, it's pretty simple. I mean, as you see, it's just filling in the shapes, throwing some multiply layers for shadows, creating a layer above my pencil layer where I then throw highlights and whatnot. You pick the really harsh colors, the really harsh white, just so you can, definitely pop things out. Oh, sorry, let me, so you can kind of add, wherever you think there's a little edge or something.
What would you say be the hardest
down.
part honing your skills? Is it time? Is it just time dedication?
Yeah, it's It's really weird to explain. I feel like a lot is time and a lot is also being in the proper zone, I guess you would say. Because for me, what I mean by zone is when I draw, there's times where I feel like I get a little too detailed and I feel like I have to make it realistic. And then I'll sit down and watch some anime or look through comic books and I'll see that other people, they just spent more time with fun style and, exaggerating shapes and everything. And it makes it easier for you to get in that mode of being like, okay, everything doesn't have to be perfect. I can definitely exaggerate a little here or there. I don't have to use a ruler. I mean, for a lot of my images here, I really hate having a ruler and doing perfect straight lines and everything. So I try to hand draw as much as I can and just use a ruler for certain lines. Like maybe for the outside of this building, I used a ruler, and then for everything else, I just kind of hand sketched. So yeah, that's one good thing to look at when you're drawing, going into it, how clean, realistic, precise do you want to be? And there's a lot of comics out there that have made it big and they don't have, the best style, perfect. Everybody knows anatomy, how to draw perspective really well, whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, I do got to keep drawing though all the time. That's the thing. If I do take too long off and get back in it, it does take a little bit of time to get back in that mode of just being a little more free and a little more loose. And it definitely helps with shapes, everything. But let's see. Sorry, any other?
Yeah, I have one last question. So obviously you have like this great blend of traditional and digital input to finish off your drawing and everything. And I think you made a little comment before where you feel maybe like either shortcuts or comic artists or just traditional 2D artists are going full digital now as their mainstay. Is there a reason? Is it just because you're used to a certain way? You just feel like your style it helps to kind of go your routine. Have you tried to go fully digital before, and you're just like this doesn't feel right? The process doesn't feel as good. Because you go full pencil, full inking, and then you do coloring digital, right? That's your.
Well, actually, I don't do any inking. That's another way I save time. I mean, I don't know how comic companies feel about that. A lot of them do think I ink, but yeah, it's in the future. If I can, maybe I'll get an inker. But I feel like I lose a lot of detail and form and shape when I ink, so I just leave pencils and then go in and color over, and that's where I kind of clean it up, tighten it up. But yeah, with technology, man, like I think earlier I said, it gets expensive. You have to own a lot of equipment, and you might begin using it and then realize like, oh, I actually prefer pen to paper. It's just much easier to get the sensitivity you need. Usually for me, it's easy to buy the pencil lead type that I like. If I'll start out light and then I'll use like 2B or HB to draw, and then B lead to get the harder outlines and whatnot if I really want it. But whenever I try actually drawing on the computer, yeah, it's been tougher for me to get those strokes. Erasing everything. I feel like it's just so much easier sitting down. The seating is easier. I sit on my couch, so I don't have to sit in a chair. I got TV on, but I'm sure if I would try Cintiq and whatnot, yeah, who knows? Maybe I would love it. But for now, I mean, it gives me my best results, and then just coloring it in Photoshop keeps everything minimal.